thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
United States President-elect Donald Trump's new administration may want to slow down when it comes to moving the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, because they've just received a major threat from the Palestinians. Top Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat is warning that if the embassy is moved, the PLO will revoke its recognition of Israel. Erekat claims that the prospect of a two-state solution will be over, and the chance for Israeli-Palestinian peace in the future will disappear. And that's not all. The Palestinian official says that all of the American embassies in the Arab world will be forced to close, whether or not they want to, because the infuriated public in the Arab world will not allow for them to continue operating. The Israeli Prime Minister does not seem to be worried about these prospects, and said last week that the embassy's relocation would be, quote, great. One very lucky bus driver survived a terror attack yesterday evening after his bus came under fire in the West Bank. The vehicle sustained light damage, but there were no casualties in the shooting. The Israeli military is now searching for the perpetrator from the incident, which took place just northwest of Ramallah, near the settlements of Dolev and Talmon. The attack comes just a day after an Israeli man was lightly injured in a drive-by shooting in the same area. The wounded man received medical treatment on the scene after the attacker opened fire from a passing vehicle near the settlement of Chalamish. The spat of terror attacks that began last year has waned over the last 6 months, but every once in a while there is another attack. From October of last year to this year, 36 Israelis, 2 Americans, and an Eritrean national were murdered in incidents of terror. It looks like the final Knesset votes regarding the controversial settlement bill won't be taking place until U.S. President-elect Donald Trump takes office. The legislation would legalize around 4,000 housing units in the West Bank that are built illegally on privately owned Palestinian land. A meeting to finalize the bill for its second and third readings was canceled on Monday, and a new date to clear the bill for its final readings has not yet been set. The Israeli Prime Minister has instructed cabinet ministers and Knesset members not to comment on Israel's controversial settlement policy since the U.S. election, out of fear that doing so could affect Israel's relationship with the United States. Netanyahu has been concerned that outgoing U.S. President Barack Obama would try to push a last-minute UN Security Council resolution on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Reports, however, claim now that that's unlikely to happen. Chaim Corsia, the Chief Rabbi of France, offered his condolences to the people of Germany last night following the terrorist attack in Berlin. So far, 12 people have been reported killed and 48 injured when a tractor-trailer barreled into a crowded Christmas market in Berlin. Witnesses said shoppers screamed and dropped packages and glasses of mulled wine as the truck plowed into the market. In July, 86 people were killed and more than 400 injured in a similar attack in Nice, France, where an Islamist terrorist drove a truck through a crowd of people celebrating Bastille Day on a busy promenade. Rabbi Corsa said on Twitter, "With all my heart, with the people of Berlin and all of the people of Germany, my prayers accompany you." He added a hashtag Ich bin ein Berliner, a reference to the famous 1963 I am a Berliner speech by US President John F. Kennedy in West Berlin. It looks like the glass ceiling may actually be beginning to crack because more and more women are headed into the Israeli combat units. New data from the Israeli news source Haaretz shows that over the course of the last 4 years, the number of female soldiers in IDF combat units has doubled. In 2012, just 3% of female recruits entered the combat service, but this year that number went up to 7%. Numbers are expected to rise even higher after the Army opens its 4th mixed-gender combat unit next year. In the IDF, women can serve in the Border Police, the Aerial Defense Corps, the Air Force, and more, but the military is now considering opening up more options. Some of the opportunities may include allowing women to serve in tanks, the SAR-6 missile ships in the Navy, and drive heavy vehicles in the Combat Engineering Corps. And as more options are opening up for women, less women are serving in clerical positions in the Army. Today, statistics show that the same amount of women are serving in combat units as they are in clerical positions.
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.